Good evening, everybody. I am about to make supper. And one of the things that I do fairly regularly is make something that we call chicken and noodles. I make egg noodles. I'll be showing you that tonight. I make just a simple, basic egg noodle. Right now, on the stove behind me, I have one of the chickens that we raised, and some of the meat birds that we raised. And I've baked it like 3 days ago, and we had it for a meal. And then yesterday I made chicken salad with it, and now tonight I'm going to boil it up and we're going to have chicken and noodles. In the pot behind me I have the chicken carcass. I have some basil from our garden. I've got garlic, carrot, celery, onion, and a couple of bay leaves. And that is kind of boiling in there, and it's going to make some really awesome broth. The vegetables I didn't cut up small, I left large so I can take out. So it's just about the flavoring of the broth. So anyways, I'm going to start with the egg noodles. Got a couple of large eggs. Gonna crack that in the bowl. That one looks awesome. And, ooh, another awesome egg. All right. Put that over here, and I'm going to just kind of whip it up a little bit. Now, I'm going to put some regular all-purpose flour in, and I don't measure anything. I just kind of go by consistency. I do a fairly stiff dough, and so that it can be rolled out and cut. All right. And I use the whole egg. I don't use just like the yolk. I do use the whole egg. It's because I just don't want to try to figure out what to make with the egg white, or forget about it and just have to throw it away anyways. So I've just learned that a lot of the recipes I've seen, they only use the yolk, and they add water and all kinds of, to me, it's just egg, salt, flour. And that's just the simple recipe. All right, now it's starting to get firm. Let me take the fork out here, and I'm going to do some kneading with my hand and kind of knead up the rest of this flour. Because like I said, I don't want it sticky. I want it firm. I want a good firm noodle so that when I boil it, it keeps kind of a firmness to it. I don't like really soggy noodles, very limp. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's get some flour and put on my island here. Well, it looks like we're a little sticky yet, and I do a little bit of kneading to kind of build up a little bit of the gluten, just to keep that. Well, they say al dente is a toothsome quality to it, so that when you bite it, you still know it's there. All right. So we're just going to activate a little bit of the gluten. Whoops, and there goes my salt shaker. I was going to have a little bit of an accident happening. right, a little bit of a stick. Okay. And I just keep on adding the flour if it's a little stickier than what I want. It's just something that after doing it so many times, I've just kind of learned that there's just a certain consistency that I like getting. And it's feeling better. I'm going to... Now, most times what people do is they stick this dough in plastic and let it rest for a while, and it helps the flour to absorb the egg. And I just make it all quick and fresh and throw it in the pot. I eliminate a lot of steps. You know, to me, some of the things that are expected in a recipe, I've eliminated, and it still tastes good to me. It still has a good quality to it. All right. I think that is good. All right. Do you see my flour jar? These are called cracker jars. They've been made for many, many, many years. This is new. I bought it at Walmart, and I also bought the labels, those little chalk labels, and I display them on my Hoosier. Now I'm just gonna... Don't be afraid of flour. Flour is our friend. Prevents things from sticking on your surface. And in the case of making noodles, if your noodles are super floury and you put them in the boiling water, it thickens up your base. It thickens up, and really good. It's starting to really smell good in here too. All right, I'll show you my rolling pin. My favorite style of rolling pin. This is the French style rolling pin. It has no handles. I don't like having handles on my rolling pin. I don't like... You don't have much strength when you have handles and you're pushing this way. Since I have no handles, I can press wherever the dough is. And I really like this style. I believe, I might be wrong, I know that we got this on a vacation at a really nice kitchen store. I think it was in Savannah or Charlotte. I don't remember exactly where. But what I do is I'm going to... It takes quite a bit of muscle to get this dough thin. Now I do have a pasta maker. You know, I could use it to roll my pasta, but again, this is something that I like old school ways of doing things. Simple, old school ways. Nothing fancy. Just comfort food. Alright. I'm starting getting stretched on me, and I got a few wrinkles here, but that's fine. Keep on pushing them out. Now you'll end up getting some flour on the floor. I know I always do. You know, and also most recipes want you to dry it. I want you to dry the pasta after you're done cutting it. And that's another thing that I don't do. I just make sure that there's lots of flour on it, and I place them in the pot individually, like noodle by noodle. so that they don't stick together. Alright, let me see. Yeah, I like getting these fairly thin. Checking the thinness here. Alright. That feels pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Okay, now what I do is I put more flour over the top. And now I'm going to roll it up. Kind of fold it up, I guess would be a better way to state it. Okay, then I'm going to start folding it up. I imagine my folds are probably about 3 inches here. And a little bit more flour. And oh, we have a little bit of a stick. Okay, must not have floured my. That's okay. Does not have to be perfect. Okay. Alright, just a little bit more flour here. Now, like I said, I'm folding it in about 3-inch folds here. Okay, now I've completed. Now what I do is I get a knife. Must have left it in the dishwasher. Oh, I'll use this one. Okay, and now what I do is I just start cutting. And I cut about, oh, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And I will cut a few at a time, and then I unfold them. Now the reason why I do this is because in the process of cutting it, you eliminate the flour in that one spot, and they will stick together, and it's harder to unfold them. You see what I got here? Just got this, it just kind of falls apart. And what I do is I just add a little bit more flour, just so we don't have any sticking. And there you go. Just literally just pick them up and they kind of unfold themselves if you use enough flour. And I just usually leave them the full length. Sometimes they break apart like this if I've got some areas that are a little bit thin, and that's perfectly fine. Like I said, they don't need to be perfect little noodles. But you can see how good they are. And I will continue to cut these and unfold these and flour these. And then when I'm done, I'm going to let these sit for a little while because I just started the pot to boil for the chicken. So I'll have that boil for, and simmer, more simmer than boil. Boil at first and then start simmering. Oh, for maybe about an hour. This is kind of a quick one. I usually, my quick recipes, I'll just let it boil for about an hour, simmer and boil. It would certainly have more flavor if you let it go longer, but most times I just don't have the time to fuss. So it's a quick version. Comfort food. I am all about comfort food. So as I finish this, I'll be going to the stove, and I will be straining out all the vegetables, and I will pull the meat off of the bones and set that aside. While the broth is clear, I will put in these very floured egg noodles. And when they start boiling, firming up from being cooked, then I will add the chicken right at the end. That prevents the chicken from falling apart. I'll be able to maintain some chunks that way. But anyways, this is how I make my egg noodles. Just all-purpose flour, a couple of eggs, some salt, some flour, roll it out, and fold it together, cut it into ribbons, and it is super easy. You can use these for making beef stroganoff. I've certainly done that. And that's really good too. So anyways, thanks for joining me again, and you have a good evening.